Allegiance.
I would. I'm going to get out. I'm going to invite up Alison Rudolph. I see she's still sitting back here. The Board of Commissioners would like to recognize Alison Rudolph for her dedication and help with the township in the last couple years. We asked Alison a couple years to help us with personnel administration issues at a very difficult time for this township. And Alison has proven to be a really tremendous resource for us. But Alison will be leaving shortly, and we'd like to recognize you for all your efforts and service. So on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, I'd like to thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yes, Elaine, would you like to do the life-saving awards for Thomas? Stay on.
Well, it's my pleasure to present this life-saving award to one of our very brave officers. This is a life-saving award awarded to Officer Thomas J. Schreiber. Officer Schreiber is here with us, and his beautiful family is also with us, including his 2 little children. I'm going to go ahead and read the...
Well, you got somebody who'll read it for you.
Yeah, you want to come on up here? Whereas on Monday, April 6, 2012, at 9:45 hours while on patrol, Officer Schreiber entered Ithan Valley Park and observed a vehicle that was occupied by a female who appeared to be sleeping with her head against the driver's side window. Whereas the officer found the female to be unresponsive to his attempts to check on her well-being, upon further investigation, Officer Schreiber confirmed the female was suffering from an overdose. Whereas Officer Schreiber called for an EMS who transported the victim to Bryn Mawr Hospital, where she was treated and listed in serious but stable condition. Officer Schreiber was assisted at the scene by Officers Stephen Benar and Radnor EMS. Whereas, as a result of Officer Schreiber's attention to detail and his actions on April 6, 2012, a human life of a civilian was saved. Officer Schreiber's actions are a credit to him and to the Radnor Police Department. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Radnor Township Board of Commissioners commends Officer Schreiber for his unselfish act and commitment in saving the life of a female citizen. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Radnor Township Police Department commends this individual for a job well done.
Thank you.
Once I started clapping, she stopped crying.
Thank you.
I'll move the approval. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And we appreciate the background music. It's very enjoyable. Thank you. And I think I can name that tune in 87 more notes, something we're working on. Now we'd like to open up to public participation.
Good evening, Commissioners. The American Legion is here tonight. Eugene Huff and myself to ask permission from the Commissioners and from the management to be able to solicit poppies in Radnor Township for the month of May. Now, the poppies are these bright colored flowers on our lapels. And I just want to give you the story behind the poppy, and then my colleague here is going to read Flanders Field. The brief history of the poppy. In the World War I battlefields in Belgium, poppies grew amid the ravaged landscape. How could such a pretty flower grow wild while surrounded by death and destruction. The overturned soil of the battle enabled the poppy seeds to be covered, thus allowing them to grow and forever serve as a reminder of a bloodshed that during that horrible war. The poppy movement was inspired by the poem In Flanders Field, written by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae of the Canadian Forces in 1915, before the United States entered the war. Selling replicas of the original Flanders poppies originated sometime after the war. No definite organized sale of the poppies on a nationwide scale was conducted until 1921. Now I'm going to ask Eugene to read this poem.
Thank you. In Flanders Field, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt sun, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, now we lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from falling hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Thank you. What makes this significant is that these poppies are made by disabled veterans of the wars. We, the American Legion Veterans of Foreign Wars, we buy them from them, ask for donations from the citizens of this great country. Tens and tens of millions of these are distributed throughout this country every year, and the money goes right back to the disabled veterans. So we're going to ask your permission to be able to do this, and just please remember why we do it, who makes the poppies, and who benefits from it. It's the disabled veterans, even the ones who are coming home now, of this great country of ours.
Bob, do we need a motion or anything, or how do we handle this?
A motion would be fine, but there's full support from the administration.
Do they actually need our permission? I mean, I understand why they want to publicize it, but do they actually need our permission?
You know, I think it would be good to be able to solicit this way. There's no questions about that, and I think it's good for the board to support them.
Can I have a motion?
I move that we authorize the sale of these poppies by the American Legion Post.
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any public comment? Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. There is one other thing. On May the 15th at 7 p.m., and this is from the Radnor Historical Society, the History of the War Memorial, its restoration, and the Gold Star Mothers, that's the name of the program. This program will begin at the memorial, South Wayne Avenue, across from the Radnor Fire Station. Commander of the Bateman Gallagher Legion Post will provide an overview of the renovations of the memorial. Gene Huff will then discuss the restoration process of the World War I plaque itself. Mr. Huff, you want to continue?
The poppy connection and obviously the restoration, the poppy connection and obviously the restoration of the monument hits home because for years this monument had been neglected, and in the last several years community support and individuals in the business area have stepped forward to help with the restoration of this monument. And once a site that some said was a forsaken site now has come alive, and we're hoping through this project and orchestrating the anniversary of this memorial through the Bateman Gallagher Post, we are also beginning a program called Saving Hallowed Ground, which will be highlighting Radnor community and basically the importance of restoration and preservation of these monuments. If this project works, we're hoping to spearhead this to other communities across the state and then across the country.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for all the work you put in. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sure the veterans appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
I'm sorry, public participation?
Good evening. Sarah Armstrong, Radnor resident. Just wanted to make a couple of comments tonight about the item F, extending the trail. I just wanted to voice my concerns about it, not opposition. I'm not for or against it at this time, but just some concerns about it. For the record, I don't live anywhere near the trail. I'm a frequent user of the Radnor Trail 2 or 3 times a week. Elaine, I see you up there too. And anyone who's a regular on the trail has experienced what I have, which is a person yelling, "On your left," and seconds later, a bike racer whizzing by at 40, 50 miles an hour. Luckily, it's not a daily occurrence, and I believe that that's due to the relatively short length of the Radnor Trail. It deters bike racers, and I'm talking about bike racers, not bike riders. I'm concerned that extending the Radnor Trail will deter Radnor residents who now enjoy taking their kids for a walk or teaching them how to ride a bike for fear of high-speed bikers. I also walk regularly on the trail out in Oaks, which is made for high-speed bikers. So we do have availability for those folks in Radnor who want to do that. I worry it'll change the family-oriented and power walking-friendly trail that has been such an asset for our community. I'm also thinking that if we do think about hooking up the 2 ends of the trail and extending it, would we widen the trail? The Oaks Trail is much wider to accommodate all the bikers that ride out there. You know, we're already having budget problems, as you know, so what's the annual maintenance costs? Have we considered parking ramifications, additional sanitation costs? Have we discussed or established intergovernmental cooperation for police-related activities? That type of thing. So I just have some concerns about it at this time. I love the Radnor Trail. I use it a lot. I think it's a tremendous asset for our community, but I think that we need to decide what's best for our community before we decide to hook it up to others. So just to have all those concerns addressed at some time. Thanks.
Sarah Pilling from Garrett Hill. Amazingly enough, you may think I do read the packet before it comes, and I noticed Steve's monthly report on solid waste department. And it's pretty obvious, and I wonder how the township is really laying this out for its residents. If we increase the amount of recycling, we decrease the amount of trash. So we increase, we get more money for the recycling, we spend less money on tipping fees, and our award from the state might be greater. I know it's an individual decision, but I walk enough, particularly in my own neighborhood, to see what's going in the trash and what's going in recycling. And I'd like to see the township do more to try to encourage people to increase the amount of recycling so that we can tip the money balance to more to the positive and less to filling up landfills. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, Dan Skolnick, Wayne. I don't know if this can be put up. I'm just here. My wife and I sponsor a blood drive, which will be in this room on May 16th from 7 to 7. You can register at our website, which is chabloodDrive.org, or with the Red Cross directly. It is in memory of my mother-in-law, who passed away from multiple myeloma and was transfusion dependent for the last year of her life. So we like to give back by trying to collect blood so other people can have that time that we had. We make this blood drive a little extra special than most blood drives. We give out gift bags. We have some free prize drawings. There's no purchase, just show up and be a presenting donor. And we'd love to see any and all of you there.
And you have free parking.
And free parking, yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope the community will support you.
Hi, Jim Schneller, St. David's. I'm demanding tonight that you reconsider and revoke the status to the League of Women Voters for free rental of this room or any room in the township building. And this is because the member of the league stood about 3 weeks ago and requested your special attention to a feasible ordinance regarding a special rights or a special anti-discrimination ordinance regarding people with different sexual orientations. This includes transgenders and other orientations, typically in all the townships I've witnessed, that are going to make your task pretty arduous or thoughtful if this ever does come before us. My point, however, is that having such an ordinance is such a transgression of our constitutional rights to conscience and religious freedom that every township where these have arisen, there's been a blatant transgression of our state and federal constitution. So I wonder how they are getting a free rental of the room or building if they are indeed, if not political, then acting in a severely biased manner, a manner which causes discord in this particular issue. And finally, I and many members of our organization, Philadelphia Metro Task Force, believe that their position on the Charter Review Committee should also be revoked for this same reason. The Charter Review Committee, in fact, is concerned with balance of power and of keeping all partiality out of government. And standing here to ask for such an intensely one-sided law casts great doubt on their ability. Thank you.
Anyone else? I would give notice of executive sessions on April 16th, 2012, preceding the Board of Commissioners meeting of April 23rd, 2012, and we discussed litigation and personnel matters. A motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the Board of Commissioners meeting minutes for April 9th, 2012.
Second.
Public discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Motion to accept departmental reports?
I'll move to adopt the accept the departmental reports.
Second.
Commissioner discussion? Public discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. We have the Katie Sampson Lacrosse Festival temporary food establishment waiver of fees, and I'll move the approval.
Second.
Wants to come up and talk, and I have a
You don't have to
question.
jump. No, that's all right.
I just want to confirm, you're a not-for-profit foundation, correct?
Sorry?
You're a the organization is a not-for-profit foundation.
Yes, it's a nonprofit. I don't have to talk.
No, you can tell us. Go. We'll put a plug in for the affair.
All right, the event is this Saturday. It's a combined effort of the township, the school district, and a group of tremendous volunteers that have put this on for 12 years. There are 54, 54 teams participating, 28 girls teams, 26 boys teams, the finest high school lacrosse teams, not just in this area, but in the country. The proceeds of the event go to support several charities and organizations which, among other things, research a cure for spinal cord injury, provide equipment for those with spinal cord injuries, offset uninsured medical expenses of people with spinal cord injuries, and among other things, our funds have provided rehabilitation equipment for veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan who suffered spinal cord injuries, purchased wheelchairs for Iraqi kids with spinal cord injuries, and funded rehabilitation, sporting equipment for McGee programs and the rowing program on the Schuylkill River.
Thank
Be
you.
happy to answer any questions.
No, we appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
I don't have any questions, but I want to thank you and congratulate you on what a wonderful cause this is and all the good things that you're doing, and especially the money you're raising that is going to try to find a way to reverse serious spinal cord injuries is just wonderful. I'm glad we have you, and I'm glad we have the organization.
Well, thank you. I get far too much credit than I deserve. The organization is a tremendous group of people, for which I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Well, and I also just want to point out that 54 teams coming into Radnor all day is it's a really good asset for our township as well. All those families, that's hundreds and hundreds of families coming to watch their kids play. They all go out to eat. Some of them stay over. It's a really great event for the whole township.
Well,
So,
thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Any other public comment? Commissioner comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Radnor Wayne Little League waiver of fees. I'll move the waiver.
What are we waiving? There's nothing,
I'll second your
$100 for
motion.
fees, up
what
to
are we
the
waiving?
amount
The
$100
team-
per case.
Team fees?
Commissioners, I could add to this. There was a zoning permit fee, which would have been $50 for the installation of the batting cages. That is the fee that they are requesting. Yes.
Okay. Public comment? Was it seconded?
I seconded it.
Seconded? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Radnor Memorial Library book sale waiver fee. Elaine, would you like to make that motion?
I move that we authorize the waiver of fees for the Radnor Memorial Library book sale.
Second? I'll second. You want to come and tell us about your book sale? You can. Sure. Well, you have to use the mic. I'm sorry. They'll never get the month way back there.
Yes, I represent the Friends of Radnor Memorial Library. And we have a book sale coming up this weekend, and we would like to just wave a sign, if we could, please, on the corner of North and South Wayne Avenue and Lancaster Pike to encourage people to buy the books. We have another sale coming up in June. The funds go for incredible events at the library, and one of the things we specialize in are the events for the children. And there's nothing better than getting children involved in literacy. So
And
we
what are
thank
the
you.
days and the hours of the sale?
Yes, the April 28th and 29th, Saturday is from 10 to 5, Sunday from 1 to 3:30. And then the big book sale, when we sell all sorts of books, hardcover, et cetera, which is huge, and we raise, well over $20,000, $30,000 for it. There is if you belong to Friends of Radnor Memorial Library, which you can join, and have a special sale that you can attend Friday night from 6 to 9, or it's open to the public on Saturday 9 to 5 on the 2nd, June 2nd, and on June 3rd, Sunday 1 to 5.
Okay. So we're waiving the banner fee of $50 is what we're doing here
Yes,
this evening.
it would be lovely.
Elaine made the motion, I second it. Any other public comment? Commissioner
Yes.
comment?
Will you give us your name for the record?
Ellen Bell.
You're on the
Orchard
permit.
Lane.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the work you do. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Next thing we have is committee reports. First is a resolution approving the Mainline Jazz Festival and waiver of fees, and I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
Kevin seconded.
Kevin seconds it. Would you like to speak to the motion? You don't have to, but just give the Jazz Festival a plug.
Well, thank you so much. My name is Jennifer Baylor. I'm one of the producers of the Mainline Jazz and Food Festival. I stand before you for the 9th year in a row. It's our 9th festival. It is on June 2nd as well. Saturday from noon to 9. We have 6 or 7 different acts that will begin at noon. We have a terrific variety of restaurants, boutiques, artisans up and down North Wayne Avenue. I think it's one of the highly anticipated events in Radnor. It's always been a terrific success. We just so appreciate the Township providing the police support that day, the trash removal support that day. We have a very valuable partnership with the Wayne Business Association. They help us with our parking signs that day and with all sorts of sponsorship opportunities. We are pleased to have Land Rover as a title sponsor. Sadanoff is on board again this year, and all sorts of local and international businesses supporting it as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any more commissioner comment? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And lots of luck to you, and we look forward to it.
Thank you.
Next is a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for 228 South Wayne Avenue to reconstruct front porch and railings, and I'll move that motion.
Second.
Commissioner comment? Public comment? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next is a motion to approve a certificate of appropriateness for 437 Midland Avenue, adding raised patio door to access to the patio and a shed to the back of the house, and I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner comment? Public comment? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next is a motion to approve certificate of appropriateness for 229 West Wayne Avenue, alterations to the front of the building, addition of 6 townhouses, and I'll make that motion.
Second.
What's that?
I'll make that motion for the approval.
I thought Alderberger was applying.
Yeah, but they have me signing it.
What's that?
They have me signing it.
Oh, okay. I'm not doing Alderberger. Yeah, okay. I'll abstain.
Um,
You go ahead.
I'll make the motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for West Wayne, 229 West Wayne Avenue.
Second.
Commissioner comment? Public comment?
Yes, Sarah Pilling, 29 Garrett Avenue. I understand there is a difference and a separateness from the HARB to the Planning Commission, but I do want it noted that I was here for the first Planning Commission meeting when Cass Holloway presented his proposal to tear down buildings and to build 6 townhouses, and there was a great struggle as to the appropriateness of putting 6 townhouses on this site. So I don't want anybody to think that just because the HARB says it's historically appropriate, that this is a slam dunk, because there were a great many issues raised on the appropriateness of putting 6 townhouses, sort of like a shoehorn, into a shoe that's a sight too small. And I just want to make that very clear to the public.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sarah. And I think that was tabled, as I understand it, so that it has not been decided.
Oh, not at all. Sarah, what then did the HARB approve?
That it was historically appropriate for the Adelberger store, and then they added in, I did not attend that meeting. I had something else I had to do that night. But one does not necessarily mean the other.
Right.
Well, the appropriateness of 6 townhouses is a zoning matter, where they fit on the lot. That's a
Right,
zoning matter. It's not appropriate matter. It's either legal or not legal, and the
Right.
Planning Commission will hash all that out.
And they began to hash it out.
Good. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other public comment, commissioner comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
4, I'll abstain. Passes 4-0, 1 extension. Next is the introduction of an ordinance amending Article of Administration of the Radnor Township zoning ordinance by providing for regulations permitted uses not adequately or specifically defined or permitted in Radnor Township by conditional use, and I'll move the introduction of the ordinance.
Second.
Commissioner comment, public comment, all those in favor?
Do we want John Rice to make a brief comment as to what?
Well, just for purposes of the public and the commission, this is something that, as a result of, if you may recall, the bed and breakfast curative amendment, there was a court decision that use wasn't adequately defined. This, going forward, if there's some other uses, without doing a total rewrite of the zoning ordinance, this will cover other potential situations like that. It'll give Mr. Kachansky first shot at going through an application that might come in. There was also some revisions that Mr. Higgins had sent to me that I think can be hashed out.
You just clarify that's Jim?
Pardon me?
That was Jim who sent it.
Commissioner Jim Higgins, yes. Commissioner Higgins.
You don't want all that credit? People sitting home thinking, look at all these things that Higgins is thinking up.
Commissioner Kevin Higgins hasn't given me any proposed revisions yet.
And I wasn't at the meeting 15 times last week either.
We're just fortunate that he's here this evening.
Anyway, it's to cover those situations going forward. This is going to go through the planning process, but I wanted to get it introduced tonight.
Okay. Any public comment? All those in favor of the introduction?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Personnel Administration?
First item on the agenda is Resolution 2012-51, authorizing a DCNR grant application for Valley Forge to the Hines Refuge Feasibility Corridor Study. Is anybody here to speak on that?
Sure. I'll speak on that if we can, and I'd ask that that be removed from the agenda. There are some questions regarding some commitments made by SEPTA, and there's some confusion of whether or not this is actually even going to go forward. So I'd ask at this time that we just remove this, hold it in abeyance, and then bring it back at some time. There's a determination made if there's any agreements with SEPTA.
The other question I have, John, if it does come back, Bob, sorry, is ask John or whoever's applying for why it's us. I'd like to understand that better since most of the trail is outside Radnor Township.
We can do that.
Second item is item G, authorization for Dilworth Paxson to work outside of the retainer on supplemental life insurance deferred compensation plan matters. Do you want to give a 1-minute explanation, Bob?
There's some questions that had come up here in regards to life insurance policies and ownership issues, and what we're looking to do is ask Dilworth Paxson to represent the township on behalf of, or in helping to resolve this question that has come up.
And it's outside the retainer, but at the fee rate that's in the negotiated
That would
contract?
be correct.
Okay. I make a motion to authorize that.
Second.
Commissioner comment, public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye. You can't vote until I call for the vote. You're confusing me, Elaine. When you went like this, I thought you had really something outstanding you were going to contribute at that point, but passes 5-0, okay? All right. Next, we have Public Works and Engineering. Jim? The first item is off the agenda.
Yes, sorry. We had an item that Commissioner Curley had been working on for some time, and he unfortunately cannot be with us tonight. And the matter pertains to improvements on South Wayne Avenue to enhance pedestrian safety and to slow traffic down. So I think the instruction is we're not going to consider that tonight, and we'll bring it back at our next meeting.
Because he wants to be here for this vote.
That's right. He wanted to be here to talk about it.
Next item you have, introduction of ordinance.
Yes, the next item is introduction of an amendment to our shade tree ordinance. Our Shade Tree Commission has been in existence since about 1992 or 93, and I don't think we've ever had a revision of its operating ordinance. It's my understanding that some commissioners have looked at this. Well, we've all looked at it. Some commissioners feel that the ordinance is not ripe for action by our board, and it should be referred to the Planning Commission, the Environmental Advisory Council, and the, not the Zoning Board, there was one other.
Go back to Shade Tree as well.
The Design Review Board, Open Space Commission. So the question is, do we want to introduce it tonight?
Are we introducing it?
Defer it. What's your?
What we'd ask is that this one not be introduced and
Okay.
take some of the commissioners' comments.
Okay.
We'll take those back, rework those, send those out to the different boards and committees that the commissioners would like us to get their feedback, and then put that together and then bring it back to the Board of Commissioners here.
Okay.
If I could just add something that is just a point of interest on this. These amendments are strengthening and improving our shade tree ordinance that was originally adopted, I think, in 2003, or perhaps even before then. When it was originally introduced and adopted, the person spearheading that effort was Howard Holden. Interestingly now, it is still Howard Holden who is the chair of our Shade Tree Commission, and he, all of these years, these many, many years, even before 2003, he has been spearheading these efforts. He has put a tremendous amount of work into these amendments, worked on it for over a year now. And I note this because on Tuesday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon or evening at 6 o'clock, we are celebrating Arbor Day on the trail. And we will be honoring Howard Holden for all of his work. And I would invite anybody who is remotely interested in anything tree to come and pay your respects to Howard Holden, who has done so much for our township and for our tree cover and for our canopy, and continues to do so, as we can all see, in all of the work that has been done in updating what was already a good ordinance from when he first introduced it many years ago, making it even better now. So thank you.
Well, that's an honor that he really deserves, and I'm glad he's getting it. John, are you the drafter of this ordinance, the rewrite?
I am one of the drafters.
Okay. Is it such an extensive rewrite that we could not get a black line version of it to see exactly where it's being changed?
There were, when I got involved with this, Commissioner Higgins, there were 2 or 3 iterations with 3 or 4 different colors. I went through all that, and there were comments in there. So I essentially cleaned that up and then added some other things that were left open. I can try to do
No,
that.
no, I've been down that road in drafting many documents, and once you get more than 2 authors, it's better just to start with a clean document and finish with a clean document.
Well, Jim, I actually, today I went through with the original and with the new, with your markings, and I did do that. So I can give you, I
Okay,
can scan
good.
it and give you,
It'd be very
I'll give
helpful.
it to the whole board. But so just that we have this clear, so the commissioners who have comments are going to send in written form to Shade Tree Commission our comments. And then at that point, our comments are going to also be incorporated with what's sent to a few different boards to give comments about these new changes in the law. And then eventually, our comments and the other boards' comments will all be either incorporated or rejected by the Shade Tree Commission again, and then it will come back to us in a more final form. Is that
But I
everybody's
think
on-
there's a lot of problems in it. This is a huge intrusion on people's property rights. The fact that the township, as drafted, can go in and say to me, if I want to take a heritage tree down, and I choose not to plant another tree on my property, that I have to pay the township in addition to the costs? I don't think people understand what this says. In addition, they've reduced the size of a heritage tree from 36 to 30 inches. I think this needs to be publicized, and the Shade Tree or some other forum needs to publicize this and make sure the community understands what the proposed changes are, because in my opinion, it's a huge intrusion on my property rights.
Well, it is an ordinance, so we'll have to be advertised, and because it's going to the Shade Tree Commission,
But again, what I
it's
want to
really going to
avoid,
see a lot
John,
of sunshine.
yeah, but what I want to try to avoid by having here the publicity out there and at the Shade Tree is not to spend hours here when some of this stuff should have been vetted earlier. I'm not even sure, John, if this is legal.
Well, there's nothing illegal in this ordinance. There's a lot of policy issues that the board has to.
So let me debate you on this. So the Radnor Township can pass a law that says if I choose not to paint my house blue, I have to pay a fee? Because that's what I read this to say. If I take one of the big trees down on my property to pull it in a pool, that if I choose not to replant, because I don't have a lot of space on my property to plant the tree, I got to pay money to Radnor Township?
Or plant alternate trees somewhere else. I think throughout this ordinance, there's a policy of, if you're going to clear properties, whether it's 1 tree or 100 trees, then you have to do replacement trees, if you can do it on your property, or if you can do it somewhere else in the township, or pay a fee.
I understand a little bit more when it's a developer, but my house and most of these people's here houses are, pretty fully built out.
And that's, Kevin, that's one of the policy issues. Commissioner Curley and I talked about this. He has a similar concern, but it hasn't been discussed beyond the Shade Tree Commission.
Commissioner Curley called me today. He also had similar concerns. And we discussed it today at length. And I think I was on more of the side of protecting trees and still respecting property rights. But in the end, I think we both agreed that we needed to reduce the likelihood of arbitrary removal of trees versus removal of trees that were posing a safety risk or concern, and then also some type of hardship or relief for small parcels, so that in fact, if you have a very small lawn with only space for 1 tree on it, and you have to remove that tree, maybe there needs to be some kind of hardship relief in the code. I'll put my comments in email and send it along, and I'm sure Don Curley will as well.
But maybe if I can just add too, that the monies, Kevin, that would come in isn't just a way for the townships making money. This would go into a separate fund that would go back and to replant trees within the township.
Yeah, but not on my property.
Oh, I understand.
It's my money planting trees someplace else.
Well,
It's a fine or a
Kevin,
disguised tax.
Let me try to help you with this. As a national policy, the Army Corps of Engineers has had a policy for close to 40 years of requiring developers to replace wetlands that they own. They have 100% fee title to the property to replace those wetlands if they dredge and fill and put something on them by creating a wetland in another part of the area. We also have precedent in this township of requiring people to do things like cut their grass when it gets above 6 inches. That's an invasion of a property right, but it's not unconstitutional. So when we're talking about trees, we're talking about not just a private piece of vegetation on your property. We're talking about a public resource. And I think it's entirely
that's
within
your
the
opinion.
province.
My property is
I'm
not a public
quite finished,
resource.
please. I think it's entirely within the province of the sovereign, of this township, to consider requiring people to save heritage trees, and if they don't choose to save them, then to pay a fee in lieu of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a question of whether you consider heritage trees or stands of trees a natural resource. We protect our natural resources all over the place. We protect our steep slopes by ordinance. We protect our wetlands by ordinance. Big trees that serve as stormwater management tools are a very important natural resource that we do protect already. We have an ordinance protecting them already. We're trying to make it a stronger ordinance. And in my opinion, it's absolutely appropriate to protect those natural resources for the benefit of everyone in this township.
Well, I read in the paper today, somebody put a beehive on their patio, and the whole neighborhood's up in arms that there's a beehive raising honey. I mean, bees are dying left and right. We need more bees, and this community's fighting these people that put a beehive on their. One woman lives 4 houses away, is allergic to bees, but she's not going to get stung unless she goes up there and starts smashing at the beehive. But they're debating that in another township, beehives. But we're going to have a good debate about trees, and Kevin, a lot of us love trees.
I love trees too, Bill. You've seen my yard. I got lots
Yeah,
of trees.
yeah.
But I want the right to take down a tree on my property if I want to.
And I wanted to plant trees all along the side of your yard 15 years ago and never got permission to do it. But, oh well, we'll work all that out. So we're taking that off the agenda, and now we're going to go to public safety.
All right, I move to accept the Staff Traffic Committee meeting minutes for both March 21st, 2012 and April 17th, 2012.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner comment? Public comment? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Next on the agenda is Resolution 2012-52, which is for the approval of the Radnor Township Memorial Day Agreement. I'll move to approve it.
Do I have a second?
I will second it, and I think there's a correction that's needed in the second whereas paragraph.
What's the correction?
Well, the words read, whereas as part of the Radnor Township Memorial Day Parade has been planned. Just take out as part of.
Okay.
First three words.
All right. Anybody have a problem with that on staff? Okay. All right. Any public comment? As amended? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Finance and audit?
We have the scheduled bills payable disbursement list 2012-4B in the amount of $1,516,168.84. These proposed payments have been reviewed by the respective department heads, approved through the township purchase order process, and then verified and processed by the finance department. Bill White, do you have any comment on any of this?
There's one item I would like to draw attention to because it's new, and it's a result of the cancellation of the grounds maintenance agreement. You will notice that under the local enabling tax, there's a refund of approximately $26,000. That represents the school district's share of the local services tax for the first quarter of 2012 pursuant to the Act 511 law. It's new because prior, with the grounds maintenance agreement in effect, the township, under that agreement, retained all of those proceeds. Now that that agreement has been canceled, $5 out of every 52 is the school district. So this is the township remitting those dollars to the school district.
Okay, thank you. I'll move to approve the bill list of 2012-4B.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. I have a question, Bill. I don't know if you're the right guy. Page 3, Set Right Corporation repair to entrance gates. What's that?
Commissioner Higgins, that was the repair of the entrance gate at the Public Works facility in Wayne.
Can you explain a little bit more?
It's actually the gate that's closed, that closes the facility off, so there's no public access in and out of the facility at night, so it's an electronic gate that moves back and forth.
It's a motorized gate.
Did the motor break?
The motor broke, the chain broke. It was, I guess it's what, 15 years old now?
Just broke of old age.
Yes.
Any other commissioner comment, public comment? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I just wanted to, during the departmental reports, I just wanted, Bill White, did you want to have a chance just to give us a 30-second synopsis of the first quarter results?
30 seconds.
Your time's almost up, Harry.
Start the clock. Well, being that it's the first quarter, there's a lot of things that are still up in the air. Most of the township's major revenue sources aren't fully collected yet, so it's a little early to start judging where we're at on the revenue side. The real, as we finish April, that'll conclude the first real. That'll conclude the real estate tax collection piece. So we'll be able to take a really good look at that. The business privilege taxes, we'll have a better idea where those at after May. And the mercantile, we won't know until sometime in August and September. So on the revenue side, those are the three primary areas there. All of the non-tax related revenue, revenues generated by departmental activity, which include fines as well as specific charges for services, those all are doing really well, which is evidence, or which is the result of adjustments to fees and the township's diligence in making sure that those are collected and recovering the township's cost for providing those services. And then on the expenditure side, so far, again, 3 months gone, most activity is tracking as budgeted. There's no major exceptions. The one area that is of significance is in regard to the Public Works Highway with regard to overtime and the paying for salt. So we have Mother Nature to thank for that. Okay. So in 30 seconds, there you
Excellent.
go.
And
Thank
also,
you.
if I may, Commissioner, also too, one of the things that, and we look at a lot of these reports and studies that we get, is under the last community survey that was done. There was one of the items there, and some of the comments from the focus groups there talked about creating, and even some of the resident comments about creating a dashboard off the front webpage to kind of give exactly that type of information of where we are. That's one of the things we are looking at right now, of doing something like that, as well as also trying to publish like the check register as well. That's something we're going to be working on too as well, so that this way people can see everything, that all the checks that are printed by the township, to again continue to keep putting more transparency out there as well, and trying to keep at least residents, then they can check and see how we're doing, kind of where we're at. So that's something that is in the works. It may start off very rough, but actually we'll look to continue to fine tune that as it goes along. So that's just kind of an update of what also we're looking at too, again, is transparency.
If we're back on the departmental reports, Sarah Pilling at the beginning of our session tonight brought to our attention that we could help ourselves financially with tipping fees paid to the county, Delaware County, if we did a better job in getting more recycling. And so, Steve Norsini, I'm just wondering if you've been in the job now 10 months, I guess. Do you have any ideas on where we might do better with recycling?
Well, we're going to take advantage of the township publications, which we have a newsletter coming out. We have the scroll on the website. And Ms. Pilling is dead on. We pay to dump trash. We get paid for recycling. So the more we can separate that, we will pay less and make more. And we're going to continue on that, and maybe we could team up with the recreation department to have some school kids come up with a slogan just to get it out there in with the residents. We have a very dedicated group of residents that recycle. We're always one of the top in the area for recycling. Means that we can do better, but we do very well. And I get calls all the time. Our residents are well educated about recycling. They know how it helps the environment, but I think if we get it out there more so, get the kids involved, I think we should we'll reap some benefits from that.
Am I correct? We're around 45% of households that recycle and the balance don't?
No, it's greater than that, sir. We're at a higher level than that. I don't have that number in front of me. We're at a greater level than 45%.
But even for the households that do recycle, it's always, especially since we went to single stream, we can recycle a lot more than people commonly think you can recycle. You know, all the way up to 7, and that's a lot of things people normally don't realize.
On plastic.
Yeah, and you see a lot. I'm sure, and the sanitation workers see a lot of recyclable items in the trash because people are unaware that you can recycle the items. So it's, you know, really our educational efforts should be to educate those who don't know anything about recycling, but also to educate those who are already recycling about how much more they can actually recycle.
That's an excellent point, Commissioner.
I do. I know exactly. You ask me an item, and I will tell you if you can recycle it.
One of the things we encounter is we'll have residents call and say, I see people throwing out boxes during trash day, Monday or Tuesday. And if our trash folks see something that's pure recycling, they will leave it there. But a lot of folks use cardboard boxes as trash cans. So once it's contaminated with trash, it's going to go in with the trash and go off to Delaware County Solid Waste Authority. So that's another thing we need to get people to remember not to do that.
Well, where you don't have the contamination problem, and you just have people putting bottles and cans into their garbage, would it be feasible to have a system of leaving an orange sticker on the can that's been emptied? We have to pick it up. We have to get it into our trash truck. Leaving an orange sticker on the can after it's emptied that would tell the resident, today we found a number of things in your garbage that could go into recycling on Thursday or on Wednesday instead of today, which is Monday or Tuesday. And by the way, we can save ourselves a lot of money and help keep our taxes down if we all pull together on this point. Do you think such a system would our workers cooperate and do that?
Yes, Commissioner, they would. And actually, we've looked at, we're getting prices for similar to a doorknob hanger that a company may leave on your door, something we can leave on the trash can, because we thought the stickers were permanent and that message will change. So we could use these items to remind people that it's a holiday week and the trash schedule has changed, or that, just as you said, there's additional items to be recycled, or they've contaminated their recycling by putting garbage in it. So yes, I think that there's something along those lines. We're getting a price now for that to see how much they would cost to get those.
The door hangers or the stickers?
Right, or some hanger or sticker to put on recycling or garbage cans, absolutely.
Okay.
Bob, could we, on the next newsletter or the following one, could we try to make that a focus? Because I really do feel like this is an ongoing message, and maybe once a year we get it on the front page. You know, something we could do with that. I know you guys are already putting it in somewhere, but
Sure. What we can do is, Tammy, I know you've got the next one. We can do that.
but the one after that, it doesn't have to be the next.
Well,
But
we
you know,
can start
We can
and
still
just
squeeze it
continue
in
that.
for this one.
Yeah, whenever
We can
you-
still get it in for this one.
we appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. That'll be the summer edition.
And also, Steve, all new residents when they move in, do they still receive a recycling can?
Yeah,
pay for it.
when you move in, it's free.
Yeah.
If you get a replacement, there is if it's your second can, there's a fee involved.
And do you know what the fee is at this moment?
$30.
$30. And that's reasonable, because I've gone to buy them, so they're very expensive. So, thank you.
All right, under pub.
Sorry, I feel like I'm up. Come on. Sarah Pilling again. I just had a unique experience at the Baldwin School where we have raised funds to dedicate a room in memory of my daughter. And it happens to be earth science and environmental science. And the teacher was telling us that her kids had raised sufficient money to purchase a water fountain. When they fill their water bottle, it tells them how many bottles they have saved by filling their bottle out of this particular fountain. It was $1,200. I think it's an extraordinary technique to educate not only kids but adults as to how much they're wasting in buying water bottles. Good for business, but not necessarily good for the environment. I particularly see it because I live next to Emlyn Tunnel, and at the end of a weekend of baseball, the can is just overflowing with empty plastic bottles. And I think it's a very interesting product that would be very educational. They also have done research, and someone donated one for every girl in the school, a bottle that is refillable. It does not have BPA in it, and it collapses, so they don't need to throw it away. And in fact, I just ordered 2 of them online because sometimes you do need to carry a water bottle. So there are things out there that can be bought that if we educated people as to their availability and available to the school district and perhaps to the township, there could be a learning that goes along with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Under public safety, I meant to bring up the Radnor Fire Company letter. Everyone in Radnor Township got a letter in the last few days from the Radnor Fire Company, and less than 1/3 of the households they serve contribute. And the Radnor Volunteer Fire Company saves the taxpayers a lot of money and does a great job for the Radnor Township community. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and each day the Radnor Fire Company demonstrates its unwavering commitment to serve our Radnor Township residents. In 2011, our 60 volunteers and 9 paid professionals responded to 890 calls for service in Radnor and Tredyffrin. And due to the contributory efforts of the Radnor Fire Company, Radnor Township is now rated as a public protection classification of Class 4. In general, the price of insurance in a community with a good public protection classification is substantially lower than in communities with a poor PPC, assuming all other factors equal. So by having a great fire company and supporting a great fire company, you save money on your insurance rates. So our Radnor Fire Companies really need the support of less than 1/3 of the households in Radnor Township. They need the support of everyone in Radnor Township. They do a tremendous job. So I'm just appealing to all the residents of Radnor Township. If you get this letter, you don't have to read it. Just take the envelope and put a check in the envelope, and realize the Radnor Volunteer Fire Company does a tremendous job for our community. So I really appeal to the Radnor Township residents to support our Radnor Township Fire Company.
And they do all sorts of things in addition to fighting fires. They rescue children who lock themselves in bathrooms on the 2nd floor. I speak from personal experience.
And how many times do they help you get out of your car? Is that the police do? Yeah. All right, Park and Recreation. Tammy, do we have anything under Park and Recreation?
We do. Lane had mentioned we have the Arbor Day tree planting tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Everybody's going to be meeting at the Friends of Radnor Trails Park, so we want to invite members of the community to attend. That is a partnership event with the Radnor Conservancy along with the Cub Scouts, so it's an exciting event. We invite everybody to come out and attend. We also want to thank the Conservancy for contributing the trees. There's I think 5 or 6 trees that they're going to be contributing that will be planted right at the entry to the trail off of Friends of Radnor Trails Park. So we want to thank them for that. We also have our department's debut of its summer information on Monday, April 30th. Our recreation brochure will be posted to the website at radnorrecreation.com, and it'll officially kick off our registration opening for our summer camp programs. Those are my 2 announcements. Thanks.
The restrooms at the Friends of Radnor Trail Park, are they open 24/7, or how do they work?
They are open during the park hours, dawn to dusk.
And then somebody locks them up in the evening?
No, they're actually on a toggle code
okay.
with 1, 2, 3 passcode to get in.
After that, or all day?
All day, all the time.
Okay, so if you need to get in there, it's 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that's easy enough. Thank you very much. Library?
Yeah. 2 announcements. First, I just want to tell everybody what a wonderful event, the fundraiser they had on Friday night at the Address and Estate. They had over 200 people attend. It was a beautiful night. There was music. There was a great auction. And I think they did a very good job raising money, which was the point. Also, the library, the director of the library, Kathy Mulroy, brought to our attention last week that there is available money through a Keystone grant for some capital projects for libraries. And we will be, the township will be writing a letter of intent in partnership with the library to get some Keystone money to replace the HVAC there. Now, you may remember that there was money set aside from a bond that they had taken out and they had used and were paying back, and now we've clawed back that money. So that money is still there. This Keystone grant has a matching requirement. So we have money set aside for HVAC that would be a great match for the HVAC improvements, and it's not enough money for all of the HVAC improvements. So this would be a very happy ending if we could get this Keystone grant. I want to commend Kathy for finding the opportunity, bringing it to our attention, and we'll be submitting that letter of intent, I think in a week or so. And if you know any state representatives or senators, tell them we really need the money. And that's it for library. Oh, I also wanted to encourage people to go to the book sale of the Friends of the Library, which we heard earlier is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It's another great way to support your library, and they raise about $20,000 to $30,000 through those sales every year, and you get some good books out of it for a very good price.
Public health?
No report.
Old business?
I just want to thank Sarah Pilling and Kathy Mulroy. Yesterday in Garrett Hill, we had a rain barrel workshop, and they managed to plan this months in advance to fall on the heaviest rainfall day of the year. It was genius in my mind. I wish I were selling rain barrels outside. It would have been even better, right? But a couple folks won vouchers, or won some rain barrels, and they learned about rain barrels and how they help collect rainwater and help relieve our stormwater management system of that burden. So I look forward to us doing this in the township here in this building. It would be great. Maybe we can arrange that, Sarah. Maybe you could help reach out to Bob Zinkowski on this again and help move this along. Just put a number out there. There are 7,000 parcels in the township, and if every parcel had one rain barrel, we would collect millions and millions and millions of gallons of water in 1 year, millions of gallons. And the cost to a homeowner to have a rain barrel is less than $100 in a lot of cases. And they're very handy to have. They can be used to water your gardens. They can be used to, like I use a drip hose. I don't have to do anything. When it rains, the water stores up and then eventually drips out into my garden. I don't have to do any watering. Never use my tap water. And I don't get a tax bill, a sewer rent fee for using water when it's a rain barrel. And I also help reduce my burden on the township. So I'm trying to put the word out that if everyone starts thinking in terms of rain barrels, and rain gardens are even better, they collect a lot more water. But hopefully we can do an event here that will help promote that. And then eventually when this board starts looking at the cost of the stormwater management program, we'll see the value in having some type of credits for those who want to do something on their own, and we'll see the benefit long-term of encouraging behavior that helps with this issue. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Can you tell us, or can Sarah tell us where people can buy a rain barrel?
Sarah, why don't you come up and tell us the good news?
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. For this particular workshop, we worked an arrangement with Do It Best Hardware, and everyone who came to the workshop got a voucher to take to Do It Best so they could buy their rain barrels at cost, which is about 50% of a rain barrel. Do It Best has 4 different types of rain barrels. And we thought this was a great arrangement because we were helping Do It Best and they were helping us. And we all know that you go into a hardware store and you don't buy just one item. You always see something else that you just have to have. So it was good for business and it was great for our people. They'll be buying rain barrels for about $85 instead of about $160. There's also a way to create your own. And our speaker was Marissa Barletta, who's an active consultant with the Philadelphia Water Department. And she had a great handout on how to build a rain barrel yourself. So I'll be happy to mail you a copy of it. And Kathy Mulroy took some back to the library, so it's available there, but I will get you one. It's not hard. We have them at our community vegetable garden at the Radnor United Methodist Church, and we use their roof to do our to collect water, and we have 12 barrels. They're all hooked together at 3 downspouts, so we have a total of 12. And then because the difference in the elevation between where they are at the bottom of the downspout and where the garden is about 2.5 feet. So we use a sump pump, and we sump it up into it, and so we have no charge for water at our garden. It's relatively easy. I have 2 at my house, and like John, I never have to water. And my water bill, my sewer fee has gone down about $50 because I use a trickle hose, and so the water comes into the rain barrel and then it just trickles down through the shrubbery and into the back of the property. The point is to keep the water on your property rather than having it run off. I just want to put in a plug for Marissa. I think she'd be a tremendous resource for this township, and for what Philadelphia's done is extraordinary. Since they put in their new fee, where your fee to a commercial building went from $3,000 a year to $30,000 a year, 45 roof gardens have been put on, and they have plans for 100 more. And this new enactment is only 2 months old. It is just extraordinary, and I think we can do this here in Radnor Township. But do it best. Go to your only hardware store in Radnor Township, and Lou will, I'm sure he'll make a deal.
Thank you. I'll be
You're
there.
welcome.
New business?
I would like to announce that there will be an open space committee meeting on Thursday, May 10th at 5:30 to 6:30 in the Powys Conference Room. Most of that meeting is open to the public. If there's any real estate acquisition discussed, that is an executive, but most of the agenda is open to the public. And if you've seen open space committee meetings listed on the website, those are usually subcommittee meetings of the group working on the updated plan. This meeting on the 10th is a meeting of the whole. Thanks.
Public participation? Motion to adjourn? Second?
I'll
second.
second.
All those in favor? Aye. Passes
Aye.
5-0. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.